Hey everyone, and welcome to another Sasquatch Theory podcast. On this episode, we have Charles from Northwest Florida, and he had a very close encounter with a Sasquatch creature when he was hunting in the forest. You'll have to excuse Charles. It's a little hard to understand him sometimes, but he's learning how to rewalk, and he's been going through a lot lately. So if you give him your patience, I promise you guys that it's a very good podcast, and he had some serious encounters with these Sasquatch creatures. It's always been a dream of mine to visit the ocean in Florida and to look for Bigfoot. For some reason, it seems like this would be an excellent place for these creatures to live in. I have heard a lot of encounters personally of people running into the skunk ape, and it seems like these creatures really like this area for some reason, and I think it's the diverse habitat. What do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments below. Why do these creatures like to hang out in Florida? If you guys can, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below. And if you have had a Bigfoot encounter that you would like to share with me, please contact me sometime at sasquatchtheory@outlook.com. Alright guys, let's dive into Charles' Bigfoot encounters from the state of Florida. All right, Charles, welcome to Sasquatch Theory. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm doing pretty good. Thank you so much for asking. Charles, if you would, tell me a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and your Bigfoot encounters and experiences from the very beginning, please.
Okay. I'm from Northwest Florida. A lot of people think there's no Bigfoot in Northwest, but they're way wrong. They're not as, you don't see as many sightings or even hear about sightings, but they're always bad.
Yeah.
But other than that, yeah.
Okay. Well, Charles, tell me about your first experience or encounter. When did you first run into these creatures? What were you doing that day? And describe everything in full detail, please.
Okay, the first really I've had interactions with a Bigfoot was what I used to go hunt in Bibb County, Georgia. Some of the best hunting you'll ever experience. And my uncle had a hatred for him. He called them big uglies. He had a hatred for them. He couldn't stand them. He blamed everything that went wrong on them. But but we were on this one property that it was awesome, man. They done had 2 Boone and Crockett bucks killed off that property. And we drove a Jeep in there, and when we came out that afternoon, I walked around a corner where the Jeep would have been sitting, and it was upside down in the freaking road. And we walked out there like, what in the hell? And I was walking down in the ditch trying to figure out how they flipped it over, because it got flipped over so intensely that it broke the steering wheel off. So that was pretty much and then my granddaddy started yelling about boogers. He I don't know what happened to it, but that he was swore they did it.
Yeah, that's terrifying right there. I've heard an encounter on Sasquatch Chronicles where a Sasquatch came out in the middle of the road and pretty much destroyed this guy's Jeep. Sounds like they don't like Jeeps or something. I guess because they can
I
go
don't
off road.
know. It it was just amazing. Me, it was like say whatever it was. It could have been people, but to break the steering wheel column off takes took a pretty good bit of force to flip it over that hard, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what happened after you guys found the Jeep flipped over, and what led you to believe that possibly these boogers did it?
Well, like I said, I was walking in the ditch trying to figure it out because there wasn't no tire tracks in the road. It- That's what got me. They come up here. They had to come through the woods. But what got me is my cousin was with us, and he said, "Dude, come here." And I walked over, and there was a footprint that we later measured at 18 inches. It was just one footprint. I don't know where he stepped before then or whatever. And as soon as my granddad seen it, he walked over and stomped it out. He said, and then he started cussing. And I was like, uh, Granddad, it's cold. I want to tell you, in my brain, I was seeing some human with Bigfoot when they're Jibo. But, you know, like I say, my granddaddy blamed everything on Bigfoot. So we just kind of ignored him after that. But, I believe now, I really believe that they flipped it over for whatever reason because we had to walk out of the woods that day.
Yeah. Okay. So, what happened after this incident?
Okay. I really didn't. I was, let's go to my, I, s- on Thanksgiving of the year 2000, we were in the woods, me and my friend who's an Eskimo from Alaska. He's a native born. And we were walking through the woods and he had hit a little limb slam and it messed my eye up really that bad. I couldn't even see that for about 3 or 4 days. And he said, "Look at this." And I didn't know what he talking about. So I said, "I can't see." He said, "Hold your ammo over your eye." So I looked down and it was what do you call the footprints that are round? Clubfoot. It was like a clubfoot is a maybe my long as my boot. I was like probably size 12 boot then. And I was stunned. I didn't know what it was. And he wouldn't talk about that print or nothing else. He was scared to death of Bigfoot, of you know, any talking about Bigfoot, he wouldn't talk about it. And the next weekend or 2 weeks away was of December 2000. We went in the woods. I went in the woods. I decided to walk. So I love to walk through the woods. I've killed many a deer like that, sneak, sneaking up on them. And I was going through this really thick brush. So I was leading with my shotgun because I expected to jump a buck up and I had to shoot him quick as I could. And when I broke through the bush, I'm sorry, but it still messes with me.
Oh,
When
you're fine.
I broke through the bush. I seen this thing. He was probably maybe, I don't know, 30 feet max away from me. And in my head, I'm trying to process what this is. My brain was like on lock. It would not, because the thing didn't look like no ape. Uh, hold on.
Oh, you're fine.
As I was,
I know that talking about this puts you back in that moment and you're kind of reliving it, but
yeah,
just take your time, relax, and just know that it's just you and I talking on a Sunday night. And you know, I've seen these things too, so I know exactly how you feel. And anytime I talk about them, I start sweating. I get really nervous, and you know, it's not easy to talk about.
yeah. When saw him, like like I say, I would told you I had 5 200-gram slugs in the shotgun, and if this thing I was looking for any tense up, if he tensed up, if he bared his teeth or anything, I would have lit him up. But he didn't. He just sat there, just as calm. That's what amazed me is how calm he was. Because it's obvious he knew what the shotgun was. He just, eh, but he, he just totally, like, he didn't care. You could see it in his face. The way the way he was looking at me, he wasn't scared of that gun. But I done made a mind up. If he tensed up in any way, form, I was gonna light him up with them slugs. And Bigfoot might be bad, but he could have toted those away. I guarantee you. So he didn't, like I say, he didn't. And then over to my, I would say my right side, no, left, my left side, I heard a whoop. And man, that thing was so, it was high pitched too, super high pitched. And he looked over there and looked at me. I'm gonna tell you, in my mind, it looked like I know he didn't grin, but it looked like he grinned. Like, yeah, okay. And I got really nervous then because I was so afraid. One, I might could handle him. Two, no way. So I could say he didn't tense up. He didn't know anything that would have gave me a reason to light him up. So I decided to just back out of the thicket. And I kept my shotgun on the whole time. And I don't know what made me do it, but I just kind of nodded at him like, yeah, appreciate it. And he cocked his head to the side like he knew what that meant. That really messed me up even worse than I was. So I just decided just to back on out of that thicket, hope, and I was praying to God that I was so scared that they was going to attack as I backed out. So I backed out and I kept the shotgun the whole time, and I ended up backing out 230, at least 250 yards to my truck. And when I got to my truck, I was shaking so bad, dude. A grown man shaking so bad that I couldn't put my key in the lock. I dropped my keys in the dirt and I slid down the back tire and I pulled my handgun out to kind of to give me some feeling of maybe if they come out, I can protect myself some. But it took maybe, I don't know, at least probably 15 to 20 minutes for me to get through shaking so I could get up, put the key in the lock, and get out of there. And like I said, it just, I just waited for ease. And it's like I was telling you, I've always been taught, no, don't mess with nothing that's not messing with you. And I've been in dangerous situations like that before with wild dogs and stuff. So it didn't mess with me, so I decided to leave it alone. And I backed out, and my partner thought I had lost my mind because I refused to hunt for 4 years. And then finally it dawned on me that these things are out there all the time. Not to saying that one could attack me at any time, but I decided that I wasn't gonna quit hunting just because they were out there. And I went back hunting 4 years later, and until I got hurt last year, I've hunted ever since. And I'm gonna be honest with you, dude. When it got dark, my butt was out of the woods. You can believe that.
Yeah. So let's kind of go back in time. You were out there
Okay.
hunting. This was December, correct? In Northwest
Yes,
Florida?
yes, sir.
Okay. So what time of day did you go out there?
It was probably 1:30, 2 o'clock, somewhere in that area. I just wanted to hunt that ticket back there and then come out and leave. I was probably gonna go back to the house.
Okay. So this was the middle of the day during the winter time, and in Florida, it was probably like, what, 50, 60 degrees that day?
I doubt it was that. It gets so hot. The last couple of years have been what I would call hunting weather.
Mm-hmm.
It would be nothing, be 80 degrees in the middle of the day and at night, you know.
Yeah,
Florida's
so
weird.
yeah, that's Florida weather. So was it a nice day or was it cloudy and nasty out?
No, it was nice. I mean, like I say, there was no wind blowing, and that's another thing I look at when I go in the woods. I look at that, what animals are moving around, and I seen all the birds. Everything was, it was looked like prime hunting time.
Okay, so you're going down this trail, and is that correct?
Yeah, I walked back into the woods from the road probably about it's probably about 300 yards into the back.
Okay.
It's a super thick area.
Yeah, and it's really thick back there. What caught
Yes,
your
sir.
attention first?
Well, I noticed that I heard something. At first, I thought it was a deer, but I don't think. Then my brain was like, "It's too damn heavy for a deer." I didn't know what the hell I was walking up on. I was thinking it was a big buck moving around in the bush, and that's all I could hope for.
Yeah. And when you first laid eyes on this creature, what did you see first? Did you see some movement or did you just see the entire creature all at once?
No, when I ducked through the thick brush area, when I come up, I had my shotgun out just in case I jumped a bug. I saw it. I saw him really. He couldn't see from his waist down because he was in. I'm talking that shit was thick back in there, and I seen him from the kind of from the waist up. And when I first looked, I was like, "What in the heck?" I looked up, and my brain just stopped. I mean, I couldn't even think about nothing. But what is this thing? What is it? That's the hardest thing I've ever trying to to get in my mind what this is. I mean, later I knew in my head without a doubt what it was, but and I'm gonna tell you, the ones in Florida, they messed up. I think it's from the inbreeding. They're about all of them are messed up in the face, dude. They don't have like normal. Well, I don't know what's normal for a Bigfoot, but it shouldn't have like this one had like on his head. He had like a knot. I don't know what that was. It sounded like a knot growing out on his head. To be honest with you, I still don't know what it is. But it looked like a big ass damn knot. Like on a deer, you would have growth. This is the way this looked like on his head. And I, I, I don't know what it was.
Was it like a conical shaped head, like a point at the top?
Maybe at the very top, but this growth or whatever it was made him look deformed, you know?
Yeah. And about how tall was this creature?
I'd say 7 foot medium. I don't know exactly how tall he was. I'm just guessing. He was about a foot to 12. I mean, he's about 12 inches higher than I was, maybe. But dude had the biggest freaking arms I ever seen in my damn life. And like I say, he had that bare patch of skin on his kind of like his inside of bicep that I thought was an injury, but I don't know. I don't know what that was either. But I thought it was. It looked kind of like an injury.
Yeah, so there was like skin exposed.
Oh yeah, there was a probably shoot. I would say 6 to 8 inches of. say 6 inches wide and 10 to 12 inches long, patches hair gone.
Yeah. That reminds me like when bucks fight each other when they spar, they'll like injure each other and like you can
Yeah,
see like bare spots on their coat.
I'd hate to be around two of these freakers fighting. You know that? Shoo.
Yeah. And what color was the creature?
He, his hair was brown, and it was brown. I want to say it was like where his head was had that growth. It looked like it had, I don't know. It wasn't white, but it was close to it. Where that growth was on his head. I don't know what that was. I, I bet whatever it was, is probably irritated the hell out of him.
Yeah. So it was like a growth, like, or maybe like a knot. Like, it's hard to say if he got in a fight or if it was just like deformed, correct?
Yeah, it was hard to say. I thought he might have been just deformed, you know, but there's no way to know. Like, I didn't see no hair mentioned up there or fur or whatever that is, but like on his arm. Now that was obvious what that was to me, at least. That was an injury.
Yeah. And what did the eyes look like? Were they round? Were they like black, almond shaped? Can you describe the eyes a little bit?
They were, I won't be honest with you. I, I looked at his eyes. I just kind of, they were dark looking. I didn't really focus in on his face as much as probably some people would have. Well, they, some people say, oh, his bicep, and you don't got time to look for all that, you know? At least I didn't. The only thing I could think of was getting the hell out of there. But I couldn't see no other like on his. Let me tell you something. His freaking shoulders were, dude. I don't know what. His shoulders were huge, and to me his waist was weird looking. He he had a slender waist. I figured he'd be bigger around the gut, but he wasn't. He was his chest came straight down. It was probably the biggest thing on him was his butt, you know. And I really didn't get to see that much. Like when I first came in there, I'm gonna be honest, he was standing at an angle, and I kind of seen when I come up from busting through that bush, I seen his hip and his dude. And then I looked at his chest, and I was like, Jesus Christ, you know, your mind just can't settle on that something like that until a few days later. You know what I'm saying? You 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 see that, and you're trying to put it into any shape, but what you're seeing, But his he had an injury on his arm. other than that, I really don't like his face. He like a must, hair grew to in like where you would mustache would be, but there's his hair on his face was pretty much either really short or non-existent. And his eyes were like, I'll be honest with you, dude, I really didn't. I looked at his eyes when I first seen him, and I was trying to gauge what kind of temperament he was in. But the rest of the time I spent looking at his arms, because if he, like I said, if he had tensed up in any way, it was going to be on. I don't know if I'd have killed him or he would have come, probably would have went over there and beat me to death. I don't know. I'm glad I didn't have to find out.
Yeah. So he started looking at the shotgun, correct?
Yeah, he never took his eyes off that shotgun. As soon as he seen it, he knew exactly what it was. I mean, boomstick. I don't know what but he knew that that was uh, a boomstick, like I said, and but he like one time I looked at his eyes. He was look. I swear he was looking down at me like, I don't give a damn about that.
Yeah.
Do your best.
So he was kind of sizing you up.
Yeah, man. I swear to God, it. I, it seemed like he was doing that. Can I get to him and not get shot with that, or he
Yeah.
was trying to figure out some way.
They're not stupid. They know exactly what it is. I mean, they watch hunters all the time. I could go out here on my property, just walk around in my regular clothes, and the deer will be okay as long as, I keep my
Yeah,
distance and I just keep on with my hike. But if I go out there with camouflage and my bow or a firearm, they take off. Like it's almost like they know.
yeah,
Yeah. So when he was sizing you up or, just looking at you, you mentioned that he grinned. Like that's not the first
yeah.
time I've heard that. I've heard that from a lot of people that it kind of had like a smile on its face or I don't know how to
It,
describe it.
one, it's like when he knew that other one was close by, like he might not have known where he was before, but when he whooped, he knew exactly. He glanced back at me like, and dude, I would swear it would look like a smirk. Like, yeah, you ain't so bad now, are you? I was like, oh, damn.
Yeah. It makes me wonder why they do that. Like, like you caught me this time, but if I wanted to, I could rip your head off. Or maybe it's just like, I don't know, just trying to show you that it's friendly, but I don't think that's the case. It could be, but it shows that they have a higher intelligence and they're not just some dumb primate out there.
We'll
And
see
I mean, primates aren't dumb,
until
they're intelligent as well.
until somebody survives an encounter like that with no gun. We're not going to know if they're going to leave us alone.
Yeah. It's almost like, I don't know, like if you were going to get in a fight and you had, a boomstick on you and someone was just like smiling at you like, okay, you're lucky you have that in your hands.
Yeah,
I don't know, really.
this thing is, man. He was like, oh, my shoulder went to sleep.
Oh, you're fine. And what kind of feeling did you get when you encountered this creature? Was it just pure terror, confusion, or, I mean, all the above, probably?
like I said, I had been in situations like that before. So it really didn't, where you would say you were so afraid that you couldn't move. I don't think I was like that because I backed out. That that was the hardest part to me was backing out because I was knew he just knew he was going to attack me when I started backing out. But I don't. I, it's weird. It depends on how you grow up. I grew up in a rough family with I had a pretty rough life, but I ain't saying, but I've never been in trouble with the law. Um, but yeah, that thing looked at me like when it heard that other one. I swear it looked at me and grinned. It was like the weirdest damn thing I ever seen in my life.
Yeah. So he knew the clan was around, so he was pretty
Oh yeah.
confident.
As soon as it's like he might not have known where it was, because he probably figured if he whooped back, I was gonna light him up, which I might have.
Yeah. So you saw this creature whoop, like he did a whoop.
No, the other creature whooped,
The other one did. Okay.
and I don't know. I'm trying to guesstimate how much for he would. He's probably no more than 50 yards away.
Yeah.
It scared it. Man, when I heard that, I was like, "Oh no, I'm through now."
Yeah. So he knew
Uh,
that he had his buddies around, so he was like, "Yeah,
yeah.
you're in trouble."
And the thing is, I didn't know how many was over there. Just because one of them made a whoop, don't mean it was. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. They
I
probably had you surrounded, most likely.
Yeah, like I
And
said, backing out of that bush was the scariest proposition to me.
you nodded your head first at him, or did he nod his head at you?
Yeah, it's like I kind of backed out, and I kind of right there at the end, I just kind of like nodded my head, like kind of saying, uh, thanks for letting me back out. But he cocked his head. The way he cocked his head was almost like he knew what that meant, and that caught me real. I was like, "Give me a break," you know. And I just went on out, but I didn't even look in no more. I just hauled his out and backed up as fast as I can to get to the truck. But I was in thick stuff, man. They could easily have got me if they wanted to.
Yeah. And did he follow you out of the area, or did he just stay where he
I
was?
don't I don't remember him. I was really listening to see if because something that big makes noise. So I really listened and I didn't hear nothing. And once I got about 40 yards away, I got picked up my pace a little bit. But that whole situation messed me up for 4 years. I wouldn't go in the woods. My friend thought I'd lost my damn mind.
Mhm. Is
And
this the
finally,
same area where the Jeep was flipped over and you and your Alaskan friend found the three-toed track?
no, that was in Bibb County, Georgia.
Okay.
Uh, my Alaskan friend, like I said, he wouldn't talk about this and nothing. he just refused to have anything to do with anything to do with Bigfoot. I can only assume that he had a really bad experience somewhere in his life. And his tribe, man, his tribe has got the weirdest sounding name. I can't think of the name of it. I can't pronounce it, but they basically he went back to Alaska for a little while, and he said he tried to ask um somebody in his family about Bigfoot and was told to let it go. In other words, don't ever say this again. Alaskan people don't really talk about Bigfoot, you know.
Yeah, most Native American tribes warn people not to talk about it because it could allow the activity to take place in your life. And it's almost like paranormal activity. Like, you don't want to talk about shadow people because it'll happen. And in Alaska, like I told you earlier, I've never heard a good encounter from Alaska like we do down here in the lower 48. Some people have good encounters, most people have bad encounters, but in Alaska, almost all of them are terrible encounters, and people don't like to talk about it. It terrifies them, and yeah, it's a
Yeah.
scary thing. Okay, so Charles, what else happened after this encounter? Can you guide me through your next experience?
Okay. I was down a pretty good ways away from I had this encounter to what is like a swampy area. And I was walking in there looking for deer tracks when I come up on this trackway, a barefoot track about maybe 10 inches long. And I was like, hey, you just walk around out here with no damn shoes on. So I started following it. And when I got up to the bush, something growled at me pretty damn deep. And I was like, and then I said, you know what? I'm going to go in there and see what this is. And yeah, that was a dumb idea. And I went in there, and something was like scaring around up in there. So I was like, what the hell is that? So I said, the hell with it. So I run up on it. And first I thought it was hogs. I thought it was a hog. And when I run up on it, it made the weirdest damn noise I ever heard, dude, like a screech. And then I looked down, and the damn thing is like scrunched up on the ground, and I see it's not a hog. And I'm like, what the hell is this? And I grabbed a limb and I started poking at it. And this damn little Bigfoot, he was probably about maybe 5 foot high, rolled over and looked at me, and I like to mess my britches. Because everybody down there had told me don't ever mess with a little one. And I'm like, what am I going to do? It's going to kill one of them, going to kill me. So I started walking out, and this damn thing started following me. And I'm like, oh no, come on. Go away. And it followed me a little bit further, and I didn't want to be mean to it because I didn't want it to make the wrong noise and get Big Mama in here, you know? So I I did enough to run it off, and I'm running up back to my truck because I'm scared to death that one of these things is going to come in there and kill me for messing with a little one. And this thing, dude, it looked like a maybe a 7-year-old, but it was small. It was the whole body. I would. I. What got me is that this was the size of a human, and I'm like, what? But I knew what it was immediately because my Alaskan friend had told me about those, and he said, "Don't mess with them ever. Run them off. Whatever you got to do." So I finally got him away from me, and like I say, I went back to the truck, and I called him at his house. I said, "Get down here," and he came down there, and I told him what it was, and I didn't tell him what it was until we got halfway in the woods, and then I told him what it was, and he took off running back to the truck. So I had to leave. You know, I was going to go back in there and catch the damn thing. It's probably good that you know that he took off running. Didn't go back in there.
Yeah, that's terrifying. What did this juvenile creature look like?
Dude, he just looked like a human child. He is, but he was so small. I don't know whether if he was sick or what, but I would expect him to be bigger than that. You know what I'm saying? But he was scrawny, like a scrawny kid. He was way underweight. He didn't look like he had nowhere the weight that he could have blown. And I don't know, it really bothered me later that he could have died, and I could have done something and I didn't know what to do. So, because I was so scared, even though I tried to go back the second time, and my friend was like, no, no way. So there wasn't nothing, I could really do.
Yeah, and you said it looked like a child. Was it covered in fur? What color was it?
Oh yeah, it the fur was all except for the face.
Yeah, and what
And
color?
it had
What color did you say it was?
it was a dark brown. And see, the boogers up in there are mostly black. They don't I've never seen a brown one. Maybe his hair got darker when he got old. I don't know. But and I'll tell you, there's really once you see one and you don't shoot at it or try to hurt it anyway, damn things I can't go in the woods now. We're not now. I can't go in the woods because I'm hurt, but after that, I could go in the woods, and I was have I had a buck push past me one time. He was looked like he was running for something he was really scared of, and when he pulled one, I thought it was somebody maybe jumped him, and when he run by me, I laid him out. I could never figure out what he was running from, but I had friends tell me that these things will push deer to you, so you'll kill them, and before you get to them, they'll take them. Last year I hunted, there was 17 deer lost in the Appalachia, the area where I hunted. Now that you got to realize, this southern hunters who get these deer for food later on, they eat everything. So they're not losing them. But I've had many of them come to me because I'm pretty good tracker. Come to me, ask me to track the deer, and I track them, and then their prints just disappear. And I couldn't, and I was like, and I mean, I walk all over the woods looking for another track and wouldn't find nothing. So I believe there's no doubt that they're taking the deer that you shoot. You can't let it get outside where we hunt, or it'll disappear.
Yeah, I've experienced the same.
I've been lucky. I've not like most of the deer I shoot drop pretty close to where I shot them, but I did shoot a really nice buck that run off probably 20, 30 yards away in the bushes, and I got down my stand and went to drag him out, and I got to it and I couldn't find him nowhere. No blood, no nothing. So I actually believe they got him. They got him.
Yeah, they most likely did. And what else have you experienced in this area or anywhere in general?
Oh, I've heard they got a place down where I live. It's called the Monkey Woods, and they're not shitting. When it gets dark in there, you can hear them start. They sound like two or three, and it'll it'll make you get on out of there. I
Yeah.
don't know.
What did it sound like?
It sound like damn. Um, what's them damn monkeys that make what is gibbons or
Mm-hmm. A
something like
gibbon.
that? Yeah, but a lot of some of it be super deep now, and you thinking, what is that? It's a scary place, but nobody I know will go up in there at night.
Okay, so let's keep rolling through the experiences and just let's talk about everything that you've heard out there or seen. What else has happened?
Right? I've heard say they don't really. You don't hear a lot of vocals in my area. You'll hear whistles. You hear a whistle that'll be loud. I'm talking about super loud. And I don't can't remember any whoops, even though I know they do it because of that one that did it. But I think that's more or less just to let somebody, one or the other one, know where you're at.
Yeah. They're trying to get your attention or call to
Yeah,
the group members.
yeah. I think that's more or less of like, hey, I'm here, you know.
Yeah.
And the whistles, dude, the whistles be freaking, dude. You wish you could whistle that loud.
Hmm. I've heard it before. It's a loud whistle, like real loud though, real sharp. I mean, I've always described it like a farmer calling in his cattle or his dogs.
Yeah, it be what gets me is how loud it is. You know, you would think it sounds like a whistle that a human done, but amplified by five or something.
Yeah.
And but other than that, we found tracks. We found more tracks than we know what to do with. I quit even taking tests of them. I don't. I I told my friends. I said, "Look, I'm not going to mess with it no more, cause I don't want the government to know nothing. If they can find out, they said it. Like I know a friend that had a bunch of Bigfoot files on his damn computer, and he come in one day and his computer was locked up. He couldn't get into it, and he tried to took DV, um, the drive out and tried to copy it back, but he couldn't get nothing on it.
Yeah, I hear that from people all the time, and it's hard to say what really happened. But a lot of people claim that they took photos of like some tracks or a Bigfoot, and they go back and it's gone.
I don't think you should really let anybody know where you're at or what you're doing. It's just you know.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Okay, so have you ever had any paranormal experiences?
Yeah, like I told you, I grew up in a haunted house that was off the chain. You see it. I used to see like orbs, uh, what you call, but these would be flashing, pulsating. It and I used to see them in this house, but I ain't seen them in a long time. Uh, my friend, I used to tell him that, every time you walk in the bathroom at night, an orb flies behind you, and he's like, "Shut up! I don't want to hear that." But and like I used to see a bunch of that. Like we used to live in this one house that was kind of haunted when we bought it, and we was moving the jukebox down in the basement because my mama liked phone song. And we was moving it down. The strap on the truck broke, and it would have crushed me at the bottom, but something snatched me out of the way. And daddy, even when my daddy saw it, snatched me away. You I don't know what it was, dude, but that right there was kind of weird. But I've I've seen full body apparitions. I've had them touch me, and I had them call my name. I don't like that. I don't like it at all. But as far as I've seen a few orbs outside, or what do you want to call them? Flashing blue lights. But I was told by local creeks to leave them alone. Those are dangerous. So I don't know why they're dangerous, but they say don't mess with them ever. But like I say, I've seen a few full body apparitions. I don't really talk paranormal because it seems like yeah, that it was a long time before I could talk paranormal because it just seemed like if you talk about it, it's going to bother you for a while. Just don't let it. Just don't let it get to you.
Yeah, I agree with that. It seems like the more you look into it, the more the stuff happens, and you can't feed into
Yeah,
the fear because, like, that's what they thrive off of, and that's how they're able to manifest. And, you just got to know that there's a higher power out there, and these things are nothing compared to that.
right. That's right. And I wear Saint Benedict medal. I, you know, I, I believe it protects me. And if you believe something, it makes a difference.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, absolutely. Your faith has a lot to do with it, and these things try to implant negative thoughts in your mind, and you got to learn how to cast those thoughts out and replace them with gratitude and hope, faith, and you just got to be stern.
you know, I want to tell you about something that happened to me a couple years ago. I was walking in the woods, just doing an everyday walk, and I heard something start talking to me in my right ear. And I'm like, I looked around. I'm like, who is that talking to me? And I was looking around. Didn't see nothing. And slowly, it began to tell me to come here. And I was like, I tried to ignore it at first, but it just kept on. And I started walking toward this one area of the woods, and I stopped and I said no, and said it loudly. I said no, I'm not coming to you. And it's like the hole was broke on me. I don't know what that was, but that was weird. I
Yeah.
don't know if that was some religious stuff or some bad stuff, but I have heard voices in the woods. You will in certain places, but you just gotta ignore them. Do
What
not,
what did the
you know,
voices say?
they try to get you to come here, come to a certain place in the wood. Just realize that don't go where they want you to go ever, because I believe something bad happens. You might be one of them Dave Platta's missing persons. I don't, I don't follow those voices.
Yeah. Yeah, that is interesting. That's the first thing I thought about was the missing 411. Perhaps these people that go missing heard a voice and they pursued the voice and it led them to danger. And I've heard people say that Dogman will like mimic people, and I know Bigfoot do too. So they'll say like help, help, and you'll hear this voice and you'll go there and they'll snatch you up.
Thank God I ain't never had no run in with one of them. I don't know what I'd do. Whew.
Yeah. Okay. So I know you don't want to talk about it, but these full body apparitions, like, what exactly did you see?
Well, I seen two females and a male. This house we used to live in, some was supposedly two people killed in the basement and buried on the property. The local sheriff at the time said that there were two people killed in the basement, but as far as he knew, they would not buried on property. But he doesn't know because nobody knows where they at.
Hmm. Yeah, that's terrifying. So it's like an unsolved mystery, and I don't know if it's like residual energy or whatever the paranormal experts call it, but like when something bad happens like that and it wasn't solved, like the spirits will try to communicate with people so they can, solve the mystery. But it's hard to say, if it's them or if it's like the demons that caused all that to happen.
Well, something you have to understand is that demons will get you to do things to they they work out an agenda. You know, they want you to first renounce God. And people I've known people that's literally uh, dropped their faith and went downhill, real quick downhill. Um, don't never let a spirit talk to you ever. Uh, what you have to realize is none of them, they may say they're good, but I wouldn't trust them.
Yeah. Most of the time in the Bible, when like an angel or God speaks to someone, like you'll feel like a calmness, and they'll tell you, "Do not fear." And I believe like the evil ones, they won't say "Don't fear" because that's what they thrive
Right.
off of. But
Yeah,
it's hard to say because Satan disguises himself as a being of light. So,
I was in the paranormal for about 7 years, about 5 to 7 years, and the worst thing was hearing something call your name.
hmm,
Hearing something call your name out of the blue. And what they'll do is they'll tell you things you may want to know, but probably wouldn't best that you know. I don't. I went downhill there for a while. Uh, the paranormal work is dangerous, and I'll tell you something right now. A lot of people might not like this. This is the truth. 99% of the people that says they're into paranormal are fakes. But Ghost Adventures is one of the worst fakes out there. If you believe that show, you'll believe almost anything. There's nothing good. How are they? They talk about, oh, we went in there and we gonna move these spirits out. How are you gonna move
yeah,
them?
I agree with that.
You don't.
That it almost seems like they're faking a lot of the activity for the purpose of the show, because if you've really experienced something like this, like you and I have, you know it's not good. It destroys your life and it brings nothing but negativity. And there's no way to cast it out without using the name of Jesus Christ. And, I'll be blunt about that. I'm not afraid to say it. And that's the only way I was able to get it to stop at my place. Like, I had to put my foot down and I said, no more in the name of Jesus Christ. And I put up a cross, and it seemed to all like settle down after that. But before that, there was no way to make it stop. Like, it kept happening.
Right. Yeah. You're right.
Yeah.
I've been through it, and
Yeah,
it's
because if they mess
not a
with it
good
like
thing
they
to go
really
through.
do, like show after show after show, there's no way of doing that without having stuff showing up at your house, even like away from the investigation site. Like, they'll follow you to different places, and if you want to be choked at night and be held down or see shadow people like out of nowhere, like I don't really believe they're doing it, because if they did, they'd have like a lot of bad things happening in their life as far as just diseases, illnesses, and just bad luck.
Yeah, shadow people. That's you don't want to see them at your house. So they're almost impossible to get rid of. Even using the power of God's name won't get rid of some of them things. They're almost like they're not of this world. It's weird, man.
Hmm.
I I really don't mess with them anymore. I don't talk about them. I don't do nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so you've seen one of those shadow people?
Man, I seen one that at my old house. This thing used to come to my room and talk all kind of trash to me at night. It took forever for me to gain the knowledge to get rid of this thing. Mm, I wouldn't wish this on nobody.
What would it say to you?
Dude, it would tell me things that I, I won't tell you. It would tell you, dude, if you go to this place, you'll find all kind of money, and you might go there and find some money, but you're not meant to find nothing, you know? If God wanted you to find anything, He would tell you. Uh,
Yeah, so it's almost like it was trying to lead you to a bad place.
it's all bad. It's their their job is seems to be to ruin you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I've encountered one before, and I think that was one of the most terrifying moments in my life, and there was no doubt about it. It was just like seeing the Sasquatch. Like, you know exactly what you're looking at. And that's why I won't watch paranormal shows anymore. And, people don't understand that. Sometimes they turn it on. They're like, hey, let's watch this. I'm like, no, absolutely not. I don't want to watch it. And, it's hard to tell somebody when you're in their house and they're watching a show and that's their interest.
Yeah.
It just makes me feel uncomfortable. But this happened in Jalisco, Mexico. My family has a house down there, and they went out for the day, and I was home alone for the entire day. I was trying to keep myself busy, so I went into town. It was probably I'd say about a mile and a half away, and I went into the market. They sell all kinds of different things, and I came across this table. They had a bunch of pirated movies, and I bought some scary movies, like, one of them was like, the Saw movies. Another one was
Right.
The Exorcism of Emily Rose, and I can't remember what other ones I bought, but I went back home and I was watching The Exorcism of Emily Rose in the second floor of the house. And whenever I got to the exorcist part, and the priest is trying to like cast this thing out, and he was doing the exorcist or the exorcism, all of a sudden the power went out in the house, just, and it was dark by this point outside. So I was upstairs, I couldn't see anything, so it was pitch black, and I'm trying to feel my way out of this house, and I'm just like, I got my hands on the walls, and I'm walking through the house, and I'm going down the stairs, and I got my hands on the walls so I don't trip and fall. And I go through the living room, through the hallway, and out the front door. Finally, I can see some light because there's a lamp out there, a dust to dawn light. And then once I walk outside, this black cat with all its hair standing up runs in front of me. Wow! And it spooked me so bad. I was like, oh God. Okay, it was just a cat. Well, all of a sudden I look to my left, quartering to my left, and I see this dark circle. It looked like somebody poured like paint on the ground, and I'm looking at it. I'm like, what is that? And all of a sudden this figure stands up out of it like a superhero, like that just landed on planet Earth. Like he's crouched down and he stands up slowly, and we're face to face. It's a shadow person, and he's got no form. Like you can't see like a face. It's just shadow. But I mean, like it's like a 3D shadow. It almost looks like a mannequin, like the Silver Surfer, like that type of shape. And like we're standing face to face. The hairs on the back of my neck are standing up. The hairs on my forearm are standing up, and fight or flight kicks in, and I take off running. And oh my God, like I ran across the street. My dad had another house over there, and he was letting my uncle live there, and they were sitting there drinking tea. They were home by this point, and I was like, someone's breaking in. I knew what it was, but I just wanted them to go there and check it out because I didn't want to say there's a demon over there. And I just feel like when we ran back over there was nothing there. And I just told them somebody, probably try to break in. But I know that from watching that movie, whatever that movie was, The Exorcism of Emily Rose, like caused this to happen. And I won't watch those movies anymore. Like they terrify me, and there's just something evil about those Hollywood movies. Like they try to make it so real that it conjures up these things. You allow it
I
in your
used to
life.
watch a lot of horror movies, and the bloodier it was, the more I liked it. But even something you take something innocent like that, you will start having dreams about killing people, and then you start having urges. And that's when I went to a priest, and I basically had myself I didn't have an exorcism, but let him bless me, and he he did something else, and he said, "You're we got to do something tonight." And I don't know what he did because he was talking in Latin, but it felt like you had reached down inside of me and pulled something out. For the first time in my life, I felt like I was free. The paranormal can be a dangerous world if you know how to protect yourself, which I have learned to do. It's not too bad, but you really better off not messing with it.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you didn't try to pursue it anymore.
Yeah. And these people that I was talking about that would watch these shows and it made me feel uncomfortable, I told them, it's not good to watch this stuff. And they just like blew me off. Like, like I don't know what I'm talking about. I know more than you do. And I try to reassure them, like, trust me, like I used to watch this stuff. It lets it in. I'm telling you. And, they just roll their eyes at me. Like, I know what I'm doing. I'm okay. I got the power of God. But like, these same people would mess with like not Ouija boards, but different paranormal things. And later on, they're having like shadow people activity, and it's throwing things off the table. They don't know what to do, and they're cussing at it, telling it to go away. And I'm just like, I told you, but they still don't listen to me. Like they're just like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. And it's just like
Man,
there's
Ouija
no
boards,
there's no getting through to certain
never,
people. Like you just can't.
never mess with a Ouija board, man.
No,
Ever.
absolutely not. I
You
never
will
have.
bring something in your house that you can't get rid of.
Yeah. It would take a really holy person to be able to rid of it for you. Somebody who has deep
Yeah.
faith, because, like you said earlier, you just won't be able to get rid of it, even if you say, in the
And
name of Jesus Christ, like, because they know that you're afraid of them. It's not that God's not stronger than them. It's just that your faith isn't grounded, and that's why it's there.
that's it.
Yeah.
You have to believe 100%.
Yeah.
If you
Well,
only believe halfway, it's gonna get into you.
that's the thing, is if you believe and you say, get out in the name of Jesus Christ, but you're still sinning, this thing is causing you to do a bunch of things, because it's implanting thoughts in your brain, and you're acting on those thoughts, on those emotions, and you're not really living a life that, a Christ life. But I don't know. I would like to figure out how to get rid of this stuff, because I feel like maybe, it's still attached to me. I struggle with it too. And I don't know. I'm not afraid to admit it. I've struggled with like anxiety, depression issues, and I feel like this is the cause, because nothing medically works. Like there's no answer to my problems, and I have these strange experiences, and I don't know. Maybe it's medical. Maybe it's a mix of medical and spiritual. Maybe it's both,
Dude,
because they'll
get
affect your life.
getting some white quartz and having that blessed and not blessed, but taking that to somebody that knows what they're doing, that can cleanse it, and you can take that into your house, and all the bad energy will literally be sucked into that damn rock, and your life will clear up.
Yeah.
That works. I've got this stuff all through the house, and you got this BS about you can cleanse it 1,000. No, once it gets sucked in, you throw that away, and you don't want to throw it where nobody can get it. You go out and you already bury the damn thing.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
I'd like to find like a good priest that knows how to remove these things, but I've talked to them before, and they're like, maybe you should go see a doctor. Like they disregard you
most
and don't
of
believe
them,
your experiences. I think a lot of it, they're afraid to even mess with it. Like they probably do
yeah,
believe
they
you,
are.
but they're like, I don't want to mess with it. Maybe go see a doctor.
Their faith isn't as strong as they think it is, because there's things out there that can destroy you. I think you know that, and the the thing about it is that you can't get rid of it on your own. You need somebody to help you get rid of that problem. It might be just better energy in your area, might be better energy the where you live,
Yeah.
and I can give you a few things can help you if you would like.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Um,
And I know like Jesus and his apostles would cast out demons out of people, and even Jesus got onto the apostles. Like you're not going to be able to do it if you got too much pride or, malice in your life or whatever it may be, because like they struggled with it. So it really takes somebody who is very stern, holy, and knows what they're doing, that has, 100% faith.
you can go get now. I ain't gonna lie. I have a silver. this new uh medallion, but you can get a 10-cent medallion, get it blessed, and you will have no problems for a while. Uh, I just have it because I love silver, and I have necklaces all over me.
Yeah.
But you can get that, but any priest will bless it, and they'll give you some holy water too. If you really having problems at the house or in a certain room, it'll really help. And he should tell you how to go about using that around the house. If he won't, call me and I'll tell you how to get rid of some stuff. But it's not an easy thing. You, some people, especially if they bring something into their life, it's very hard to get rid of.
Yeah,
I had a
absolutely.
girlfriend that did that, and I almost lost my mind and myself trying to get her away from this thing, and she just wouldn't let it go, man. She just would not let the greed go. You just have to decide: is your being uh right with God more important, or is this more important? You know what I mean? It's simple to me.
Yeah. What do you mean she wouldn't let go? Like what was she doing? Like acting
She
out?
she had a problem with gold,
Hmm. Okay.
and she began to collect it like it was. I'm gonna everything she had in her house was gold. She was one of them persons that have money,
Yeah.
and she would collect. I said, "Look, I said, here's your purse problem. You're leaning on this. Get rid of it. Use silver. Just get rid of this and show. You ain't got to have $10,000 worth of gold. What the hell are you trying to prove?" But she wouldn't listen. She just, it might, I don't think it shit drove her crazy. She lost it. And I really cared about her, and it messed me up in the head.
Yeah. No, I know someone who was having shadow people activity and I just couldn't get through to them. I mean, I had my own issues as well, but like the anger, like they just couldn't see how angry they were, like how they would just
Right.
like flip out over everything, and it's just like don't you see how you're acting, just like you're screaming and yelling and saying these awful things, and it's just like they weren't responsive, like they didn't understand. It's like, you have this shadow person in your house, and like it's almost like you turn into a different person and you don't see it. But I don't know. It's hard because, it's hard to just do that for yourself, but you can't change someone else. They have to do it for themselves.
That's true.
Yeah. Okay. And I know for the listeners, like, we start talking about Bigfoot, and here on Sasquatch Theory, things get weird. We start talking about the Bible or ghosts and
Right.
paranormal activity, but there's a reason for it, because how can one person see these cryptid creatures? And whenever I ask, the people I interview, 70% of them say they've seen a shadow person or have had paranormal activity that's been ongoing or that's happened in the past. And the reason I ask them is because I've had all these strange experiences. I've encountered cryptids. I've, had like a little gray alien standing at the edge of my bed. I've seen a shadow
Damn.
person. I've heard a dog man out in the woods. Like, it just can't be a coincidence. There has to be something more to it, especially since we can't find an answer on the Bigfoot phenomenon or the cryptid phenomenon in general. Like, in general, how do these tracks just disappear? Why do so many people claim that these things can cloak, that they can mind speak, that they show up at your house and they can follow you around to different areas, that people see these orbs with the cryptids and they also see them in their house with the paranormal activity? There's got to be something that goes hand in hand. And you've seen a shadow person. Do you think it's possible, if somebody has one of these shadow beings attached to them, that possibly it could manifest into an unknown animal?
It's possible. I mean, you become so obsessed with something, I believe it could manifest that way. Yeah.
Yeah, I've wondered the same because I don't know. I was doing research on like demons years ago, and that's one thing they were talking about, that they can appear as like an unknown animal. And I was like, well, that kind of goes hand in hand with the cryptids. I don't know, especially a lot of people that seen these things and they're like, it just disappeared. It disappeared into thin air.
My friend said he seen uh, he said it was a coyote turned into a man. At the time, I blew him off because I thought he would have lost it. But now I know that he could well have seen something like that. In Indians, it doesn't matter what tribe they're from. They all have beliefs about um, when it comes to shapeshifter. Basically, what that is, I believe. But I believe also too that if you are so obsessed with something that you will actually see it, like a Bigfoot. If you are out there looking, why? What? I would want to be. Most people ain't gonna be looking unless they've already seen it. I believe that can manifest to them because they want to see it so damn bad. I don't know.
Yeah.
I
And that
don't know
goes back to the
nobody
Native
wants to see a.
Americans. That goes back to the Native Americans where they don't want to talk about it. If you talk about it, you'll see one.
Yeah.
And it goes back to our conversation earlier. If you talk about this stuff, it could let it in. And we're talking about it for the sake of the podcast and to help other people out who are experiencing the same thing. But we're not talking about it for entertainment. We're talking about it to help others.
Right. That's true. And like and also too, don't be so obsessed with Bigfoot that you can't see the rest of the world around you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I had to learn that too. Just like, you can't be out there all the time. I mean, even just for the channel, like, you just have to enjoy your life too. And it's hard because when you encounter one of these things, the questions and the thought of it just infest your mind. It's an enigma, and it's a parasite kind of. And I know you've had that same experience where after you see this, one of these things, you're like, where do they come from? What do they eat? Why hasn't the government told us about them? And the questions just keep on coming, and like people say, it's a never-ending rabbit hole.
Yeah, I believe the government already knows, and have probably it wouldn't be a surprise to me if they dissected one. They already know everything about Bigfoot that they want to know. I don't know why they would keep it such a secret, though. That's the only thing I couldn't quite understand.
Yeah, some researchers will say out of sight, out of mind. They just don't want to tell us for that reason. Some people will say the logging industry, but I think if it has to do with something spiritual, then they definitely don't want to tell us. And I believe that's what it is. And I think that's where aliens and UFOs come from. They're interdimensional, but I think it has something to do with demons, and it's real. It's flesh and blood, but it's another world that we don't see. And it says that the fallen angels left their place of habitation and bred with human women. Where is this place? And I think it's another world. A lot of people talk about frequencies and how Sasquatch are blurry, whatever that may mean. But like, I think it's like another world collided with ours, and that kind of describes like heaven and hell. It's right there, but you just can't see
You
it.
know, I actually seen a UFO one time too. It looked like a big damn balloon with a with something hanging on the bottom of it, and five craft come out the bottom, shot out on different directions, and my Indian friend was there too. It was like, no, not again. And about an hour later, they flew back in it, and then that damn thing just, I don't know if it disappeared or whatever, but it just blinked out of existence. I don't know what the hell that thing was, but it seems like I don't know. I've had a lot of UFO stuff, man. I don't know if that has something to do with the damn Bigfoot thing or, but in Florida, you can look up in the skies. If you really want to see shit, you get a telescope and look up in the skies, and you be like, hmm,
Yeah.
you got to have some pretty clear skies out there where you live too, don't you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I've seen a lot of UFOs, and I don't know. I think it was like 2 years ago. I was seeing a bunch of stuff, and it really made me feel like the cryptid phenomenon is connected with the alien phenomenon, because it's just like, I seen Bigfoot right over there in the woods, and right above my house a giant triangle floated over the house, and I don't know, all kinds of strangeness. I don't know how to describe it, but I don't know, it's tough to
Dude, I
say.
seen something one time that looked like a damn Death Star. I swear to God. It looked like it was, I don't know how long it was. I'll say minimum 300 feet long, about that much wide. It went over the institution I was working at, and every post called it in, and then all of a sudden they come up with, oh, we had the balloon. No, that wasn't no damn balloon. I'm like, damn, I think I know what a balloon looks like.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of stuff up there at the institution that went over. So I know some of it was probably experimental because, they got a big army base over there in the woods. Uh, I don't know what the name of it is, but they do all kind of weird stuff over there.
Well, it makes me wonder because a lot of the people that know a lot about aliens and UFOs and have worked on these secret bases say that the aliens have an agenda and they have a human hybrid program going on. And, you know, people that
Hmm.
have studied Bigfoot, that's what they say, that it has a human mother and the father's unknown. And Lloyd Pye, which was a researcher that looked into the alien phenomenon and the cryptid phenomenon, he had like an alien skull. He was featured on Ancient Aliens, and it was called the Star Child. But that's what the test showed, the DNA test, that human mother, father unknown, same as the cryptids. And then also with the paranormal activity, you hear people talk about like succubus and incubus, that these things show up at nighttime and, like, I don't know, try to do things with you. And it seems like there's something dark going on. And, like we said earlier, there's a reason why the government doesn't want to tell us. And it's not just because the logging industry or just because they don't have to. There's something dark, sick, and sinister happening. And, it would freak out the public if we really knew.
Hell yeah, they ain't gonna tell, man. People get freaked out over nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
they go and buy all the gas up in the county because something's supposed to happen next week. But I'm trying not to think about, you know, Bigfoot. I don't have no choice but to think about.
Yeah.
But if I never seen another one, I'd be honest with you, it wouldn't bother me.
Well, that's good. And I agree. Like the people would be terrified. Like the pandemic, what they call the pandemic, like how freaked out people were. They're buying everything. Like, what would they do if they found out, like, those Bigfoot and dogmen that are out there in the woods? Those are your children. They'd be like, what? I mean, I'm just like theorizing, but what if? What if these aliens that are showing up at people's houses and taking like eggs and sperm and stuff like that are actually creating these creatures, and it's been happening since the time of the Native Americans? Like, what if we found out like those are your kids?
Man.
I'd freak out. Like, that juvenile that you seen, that was your son.
Yeah.
Like, it'd be hard to wrap your mind around that. I'm just theorizing, but I'm just, I'm wondering, like, how far does this go? Like, why won't they tell us?
I don't know, man. I know if you think about some of this stuff, it'll mess with your head, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty twisted, I guess, in those regards. But no, what you encountered out there in the woods, that was certainly real. And we may never have an answer as to why these creatures are out there. And they're trying to figure out the secrets to the universe, and they can't even tell us why so many people are having Bigfoot encounters. So it's hard to say.
Yeah, like down south, um, there was a dude that used to come to the institution from down south, and he told me he seen UFOs all the time down there. He said it so many come over his institution down there that the Air Force would just tell them there was some like 4 or 5 flights of them coming over or something. I'm like, damn. Imagine down there in Miami, though, we got to be clear. See ya.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think that pretty well covers your experiences and your encounters, and I think I've asked all the questions that I had written down. Do you have anything else that you'd like to share? Would you like to ask me any questions before we wrap things up?
Um, I just kind of question about the little one you saw.
Hmm.
Was what color was he?
He was jet black, like a coal black. I mean, kind of like a little black bear, but I mean, it didn't look like a black bear, but the fur did. And I don't know. I would say he was probably about 4.5 feet tall, conical shaped head, a very, very elongated shaped head, and he was covered from head to toe with fur. There was no skin showing, and he had these big, round, wide eyes. I mean, almost like a light bulb. And I don't know, he looked primate in the face, but he also looked human. It was like a mix of the two. You could tell that he was very intelligent, and I don't know. I was blown away whenever I seen him because whenever I first caught a glimpse of him, he was on all fours moving through the brush, and I thought initially like it was turkey, maybe a hog, maybe a black bear, and my mind was just trying to find an answer. And it hid behind a tree, and whenever it hid behind a tree, all I saw was like a big black hairy arm slowly hide behind the tree. And I thought, man, whatever that is, it's gone now. So I just like focused on that tree and was looking at it for a few seconds, and then right at that moment, this little creature stepped out from the side of the tree, and he's looking around, panning from his left to right. You can tell that he thought he heard something, but he wasn't sure what it was. He didn't see me at this moment. And then whenever he panned to his right, he saw me. His eyes, like, I don't know, like bugged out of his head. It looked like he just saw the devil or something, like I was evil. And he kind of like puffed up his chest, got real serious, and then like ducked down and kind of went behind the tree in the brush. And then like that was it. He was gone. Like he didn't run off like a white-tailed deer. You didn't hear anything after that. Like once he hid behind the tree, that was it. He was gone.
Let me ask you something. Do you think if you like if he sees you somewhere down the line, he'll recognize you?
I think he will. I mean, I always felt like I would run into this little juvenile again when he's older, and I think we're gonna recognize each other. But I don't know. Like he didn't want to have anything to do with me. But I feel like he was watching me. Like he was on patrol. You could tell like he was on guard duty or something. But I didn't pursue him because like I just had this class A encounter. It's like what else do I need? I don't need to chase this creature down. That answers all my questions, and these things really are real. And I felt like if I just saw a little one, that means mom and dad are somewhere nearby.
I hope if that one of mine I saw, he sees me again, you know, remember I didn't hurt him or nothing, maybe he'll think the same toward me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how I feel too. After he disappeared behind the tree, and I don't know, I was blown away. I kept saying, "My God, they are real." That was so cool. I was excited. I was thrilled because I was starting to feel a little crazy after my first encounter and all the experiences that were happening. I was really questioning my sanity, and after I seen him, like I knew without a doubt, like these things have a breeding population out there. But I kind of called out to him after he hid behind the tree. I said, "Hey, buddy." Like that was it. That's all I said because I was shocked, a little scared, excited, and I was just like,
Yeah,
"Hey, buddy." I don't know,
it'd
but
be weird to get to see one of them again.
yeah, like you
The
said
only
earlier,
I
like you
want to tell
don't.
you, the ones down here are so goddamn ugly, dude.
Mhm.
I I don't know if it's from interbreeding or what. Man, they're freaking ugly, dude. I ain't lying. You
Yeah,
would not want to see one of them. That bitch would stare the hell out of you if you see you seen him early in the morning.
yeah. That's what I've heard down in Florida. Like they're pretty rough looking, and I've heard that from different researchers. The ones here in Missouri, like you can tell they're healthy. Like they're real healthy.
Even I used to be a member of crypto reality,
Yeah,
and
Mark Zasky.
he the only thing about him. they get some pictures that's just out there with me. You know what I'm saying? And then some looks pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. Some of the pictures were like, okay, I can see like eyes shine. It looks like different individuals or different figures. And then some of them, it's just like, I mean, I don't want to be rude, but it was like extreme pareidolia. But I mean, that's their
Yeah,
opinion. If that's what they believe, they're the ones out there. I'm not out there, so who knows what they experience. But yeah, I feel like,
'cause down there, man, there's a lot of you walk up. Uh, the way that forest is down there,
mhm,
you you have a lot of you just have a lot of areas where you can see 500-600 yards,
mhm.
and then there'd be areas you can't see 10 feet.
Yeah, it's real
I
thick
don't
in
know
there
how
all
they
year round.
get used to that.
Well, I wish we
But
lived
yeah,
closer. I'd like
man,
to go to the area where you had these encounters and you could walk me through and, describe everything in detail and I'd get to see, where you were at and
I
get
show
to
you,
meet you.
man. I only knew how this one place where I saw the mail. I don't know how grown it up it gotten,
Mhm.
because they normally burn it off. And sometimes I wonder when they burn that off, do they run them out or they just run them in another area or what?
I think so. I think that's probably what happens is when they burn the areas, it moves them to another section of the woods.
But don't tell you, me and my partner, we thought we knew the woods back to front because we hunted there. So we could literally jump deer, dude. You get in a car and haul ass down and know exactly where he's gonna come out at. That was what amazed me is when I saw that is once I sat down and in my head got it through is how can something that big be out there and me never seen it? They just damn sure don't. I know they stay in thick stuff, but damn, even once in a while they should be seen.
Yeah,
Just
that's a testament to how good they are. It doesn't matter how large they are, they can still hide from you. And it doesn't matter if it's a little baby, it's still going to be able to hide from you. Do you think that little juvenile that you seen was sick or something? You said you saw it laying down.
I do, man. I do. I think he was sick, but he wasn't throwing. He wasn't heaving or nothing. But he was scurrying around in there. I don't know if he was scared of me, which is that would probably wouldn't have made him scared. But it just I don't know what in the hell. I must have been a stupid read running up in the hog infested area looking for something. If I had to run up on some hogs up in there, it'd have been bad.
Yeah, absolutely. Did the face on this juvenile look primate? You said it looked very human.
Man, I'm gonna tell you, it looked like a looked like a black male, maybe 8 years old, because he was just that damn skinny, dude. The thing got me is I was thinking huge, even baby huge, but this was. Uh, I think he was too. He wouldn't have getting enough food, or something, or they had just let him go. I, I imagine that they just leave him out somewhere, they ain't strong enough, I don't know. It just scared the crap out of me because when I realized what it was, because I'd been told never ever mess with a little one. All I thought was I was gonna die.
Yeah. Can you imagine
But
bringing something like that home with you? You couldn't tell anybody.
man, I wish it could help a fucker though, in a way. But gotta watch my language. Sorry, but it's just amazing. It almost looked like a damn young, and I mean a skinny young one. I would expect him to be double his size.
That's mind blowing right there. And I'm sure you're always wondering why it was alone, why you encountered it, if it was sick, and if there's anything you could have done to help it.
I wonder sometime if I could go back in that same area and he'd be in that same area.
You never know. He's probably out there somewhere right now.
I hope he's I hope he survived.
Yeah, I hope so too. He's probably out there breaking trees and throwing rocks at people and slapping the side of their house. Who knows?
There you go, T. That's got to be terrifying to have one slap the side of your house like that.
It really is.
My friend KJ, he said they lived in a small house in Alaska, and sometimes it sounded like he thought it was elk, but I don't think it was elk. Was it said it sounded just like a you slapped your palm against the side of the house, but 10 times harder than you could slap it. And I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
Bigfoot.
Absolutely. I hear that from people around here. I shared my channel with a buddy at the gym, and he watched it and he loved it, and he came back and he said, "Hey, we got this cabin north of Missouri." He's like, "We've heard stuff." He's like, "It sounded like something just crashed into the side of the cabin." And he started naming off all kinds of things. He didn't know what it was until he watched my channel, and he really started rethinking experiences that he's had in his life.
Yeah, I mean, it made me think about some of the stuff I heard in the woods. Like I heard something, I thought it was a tree falling. You hit it, see, you think back to all the stuff you like. I found a, a hog in the woods one time, and his neck was broken. Just you could tell, you could wiggle it around and tell. And I'm like, what killed it? Other than the neck, I'm like, how did it get a neck broke? Because it was laying in thick stuff. Because nobody drug in there. Never could figure out how it got a neck broke. Something broke it. It had to take some power now to break a hog's neck. I don't know. And he have no bullet wounds in him and no nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's strange. I've seen, I can't remember who shared a photo with me, but it was a hog with its head ripped off. And it's like, how does that happen? I mean, they don't really even have a neck. So it's just like, that would take a lot of force to rip a
Mm,
hog's head off.
yeah,
Yeah.
I heard of. I think I was listening. I don't know what show it was. This dude was talking about when he grew up in South Florida, something ripping a bull's head off. I'm like, I couldn't imagine that. ripping a bull's head off.
Yeah. Well, I think I've heard that as well. I think I had a guest on the channel from Oklahoma. He said the Sasquatch got in a fight with the Brahma bull, and I think that's pretty much what happened. I've also heard an encounter where like it like just picked up an elk and took off with it. And an elk, that's
Damn.
a big animal, so it had to be a really big Sasquatch to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Charles, I think that pretty well wraps up the podcast, and you did an excellent job, and I really appreciate you for taking the time with me to explain
I'm
these
glad,
encounters.
man. I just got kind of, I just got excited because that thinking about that, even though now it still brings back that memory, of seeing that thing immediately and just knowing what the hell it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean, and when you talk about
I
it, you relive it.
guess you do. And I wouldn't know if I'd have been up in Georgia at 10 years old when I started hunting up there with them. If I'd have run up one then, I wouldn't know. I would have lit it up, man. I wouldn't have known what to do. I would have just shot it till it left me alone. I'm glad I didn't shoot that one. That even though I thought about it later, I still was glad I didn't shoot it because, like I said, my daddy always beating me, and if it's not mess with you, don't mess with it. And I believe that 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. Live and let live. But if they
Yep,
come at
that's it,
you, you
man.
got to defend yourself.
Yeah, if he'd have tensed up, I would have met no choice. But and then the other one probably would have killed me. But
Yeah. Yeah, you never know.
yeah,
It's best to just keep your distance and like exactly what you did, just go back to your vehicle and leave.
yeah, we was hunting there one year, and I done something I'd hardly ever did in Florida was rattle. I slammed the horn together real hard, and man, it sounded like King Kong was running through the bushes. It scared the hell out of me. I jumped up a stand and grabbed. I was hunting with a pistol, a 44, and I pointed it that way, and I was scared to death because I didn't know what it was busting through the woods. But it never came out or made no noise or nothing. Even my partner was like, "What the hell was that, dude?" I don't know. Let's go.
Yeah, it
I
sounds
wonder
like
if
it was a
it.
Sasquatch.
Oh, damn, dude! You your experiences, you they
Hmm.
like maybe halfway get you one year, and then they get you really get you. Even though I know that one, the look in his eyes when I popped through that bush was oh shit.
Hmm.
He didn't expect to see me. I believe he thought it was one of the other ones. When I oh man, I could imagine walking him seeing a human and knowing he's got a gun pointed at my. I bet he was scared. He might not have showed it, but he did not act like he was scared. He looked at me like, okay.
Yeah.
I hope you don't ever end up like that, man. I don't, like I say, I don't want to shoot one, but I will to protect myself.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a great theory. A lot of people say they won't let you see them unless they present themselves to you, but I think that's that's far from the truth. I think sometimes they get caught off guard, and yeah, you got a great theory there that possibly they thought that you were one of the clan members.
Yeah, I think it's pretty obvious he thought I was one of them coming up through there.
Yeah.
Cause I didn't make that much noise sneaking through the woods, but I knew when I busted through that area that I was making noise. I'm really glad I didn't walk up on him uh, totally unannounced. And you know what I'm saying? He might attack me. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just hope to God I don't run into another one.
Yeah. No, I understand that for sure. And it's best to be safe than sorry. And, with what I do, I hope that I run into another one, but that's just, how I am. And, I don't know.
Right.
It's probably weird to say that, but, it's part of what I do. And I want to see another one.
I wish you wasn't so damn far away. It'd check you out, man. But right now I can't really do nothing because I'm learning how to walk again.
No, I understand that. And I hope that you get better and you find the treatment that you need, and I believe you will get better in time. You'll be able to walk again, and it's just going to take faith, and
Hope so, man.
yeah, you got to be strong and just know that things will get better.
I believe it. That's all I can do is believe.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Charles, we're going to wrap it up from here, and I appreciate you for taking the time to speak with me today and to share these encounters openly here on
I thank
Sasquatch
you,
Theory.
man.
No, I mean,
You made it possible.
well, I appreciate that, and it's what I do and what I live for, my friend.
All right, bud. You take it easy now.
Yeah, you too. It was a pleasure speaking with you, and if you need anything, just shoot me a message, and we'll keep in touch.
Okay.
All right. I'll talk to you
Later.
later. You have a good night, my friend.
Bye. You too.
All right. Bye. All right, Charles, you did an excellent job at describing your encounters, and I can only imagine being in the woods hunting with a rifle running into one of these creatures, because you often hear that they know what a firearm is, and in this case, it certainly did, and it looked right at it. I found it very interesting that he said it seemed like the creature was smiling, and I've heard that before from other people, that it seemed like the creature had a grin on its face, but it could be like intimidation, like, ha ha ha, you think you're tough because you have that, but you have no idea that the entire family clan has surrounded you. Just try it. But it's really hard to say. And the little one that he ran into, I wonder if it was hurt. I wonder if it was abandoned or what was going on. Maybe it was just sick, and possibly the mother was somewhere nearby getting food or doing whatever it is they do and was going to return shortly. It's really hard to say, but it is sad if the thing was abandoned, and hopefully the little creature made it out okay. And I'm sure he's out there wood knocking and whistling at people as we speak, pushing over trees and laughing to himself, thinking these people have no idea that I exist. Sorry if I got off track with the paranormal stuff, and I feel like it's important to ask. A lot of people that have had a Bigfoot encounter have had paranormal experiences, and you just never know if it is connected. But yeah, I appreciate everyone for tuning in today and for watching the videos and listening to the podcast. It really means a lot to me, and I hope that big things come my way in the future with the channel. But until then, you guys take care and be safe out in the woods.